What's up, guys, and welcome back. We are in Avoca, Iowa? Avoca, Iowa. I'm dyslexic. It's okay. As you know, we slept in Goshen last night, about a mile outside the yard. And as I said, Chris and Jolie decided to do a 34 because they were right on the cusp of being able to make their delivery without having to do one. Went ahead and did it, waited for me. It's nice to be able to run across the country with people, especially when you're doing, 1,800, 2,000 miles. Not a requirement, absolutely. I mean, you guys have seen me do it tons of times by myself, but running in a convoy with a group, especially a group of people that you get along with who might be just as messed up as you are, really nice. And you have that backup. If something goes wrong, if your truck breaks down, if you're whatever, you have a way to get to a parts store or someone who can go get help if needed, or just kind of whatever. It's nice to have that backup. So any chance I get to run with these guys, I do. It's great. So I have got a ton of questions from you guys over and over and over and over, and we're going to cover those today, since I actually happen to have these two trucks with me that answer those questions that you guys have asked. So other questions that I get a lot of are, what's your insurance? Mine is $340 a month. That's going to change for every person, every truck, every. But it's very good. It's a very good rate comparatively to when you start looking at like hotshot insurance for $1,000, $1,200 a month to include your trailer and everything. I get asked a ton. Can you sleep in the campers? No. They tell you that at orientation. Don't sleep in the campers. Go in and check, make sure everything's secured and safe and ready to travel across the country, but you're not sleeping in them. Another question that I get asked a ton is, do I have to have a long bed? Well, as you can see, Chris's truck is a short bed, and in order to do this with a short bed, and if you want to do fifth wheels, you have to have
a sliding fifth wheel.
And not Anderson, or it has to be Anderson?
It just needs to be a slider. It doesn't matter what brand, but just a sliding fifth wheel.
Okay. And why is the short bed a concern?
Well, because if you have a short bed, a lot of the campers will hit right here when you make a 90-degree turn. So if you have a sliding fifth wheel, if you need to make a sharp turn, you can have it on the back position, and then if you need to get into a tight area, you can do that.
So what he's talking about there is, since I actually have a fifth wheel, I can show you. You see the front of the cap is right up here. Now, if I had a short bed, that front of the cap is going to be here-ish, give or take a little bit, kind of a rough estimate. Now, if I go into a sharp corner, this corner is going to swing out, and with the long bed, I can go a full 90 degrees. I've done it. It's fine. If you have a short bed, you're going to slam the corner of that right into your cab. So then you're out your $1,500 deductible, you're out the cost to repair the cab of your truck, and you're probably going to be de-leased. Another question I get a ton is, do I have to have the 450 like you do? Absolutely not. My truck is way overkill, and the only reason I have the 450 is because I was going to get into hotshot, and I didn't think RVs was going to be this enjoyable, be this busy, be this profitable. I had no intention of sticking around. That's why I have that truck. Ideally, if you have a CDL, get a 350, get a dually. If you don't have a CDL, like Jolie, she's got a 3/4 ton, 250, and what's the disadvantages to going that small in the truck?
There's not a lot of disadvantages, really. There's probably more advantages for somebody that doesn't have a CDL than somebody with a CDL, because you have a lower GVWR on the truck. So therefore, hers is 10,000 pounds, so she could legally tow a fifth wheel up to 16,000 pounds. Well, 16,000 even, actually, and stay, in the legal limits. as to where like my F350 single tire would be, I'm at 11,500. So I'd be, if I wasn't a CDL, I'd be down to, I can't do math right now, but what, 14.5.
Yep.
So I'd be down to the highest GVW fifth wheel I could take would be 14.5. So there's actually more advantages to a 3/4 ton if you're non-CDL. If you have a CDL, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the GVW is. It just matters that you stay, well, with a CDL, it doesn't matter if you stay under 26 either, but then you got IFTA and all that stuff, then you got to start dealing with that, so, as you know. But yeah, really there's no disadvantages to a 3/4 ton. If you don't think you have enough suspension, put airbags. Like Jolie's truck here has airbags on it. If she gets a little heavy, pump up the airbags a little bit. There's really no difference between that truck and this truck other than a little bit of springs. I mean, there's really no difference.
Yeah, they're the same motor, same transmission, same transfer case.
Same gear ratio, same everything.
It's just how much weight can the tail end support on the suspension is your biggest thing. Now, these GVWRs we're talking about, since my truck is unlocked, I'll go ahead and pop it open and show you guys. If you look right here, mine says 14,000. So without a CDL, I could only do 12,000, which is going to limit me to almost nothing. So that's why I can still work this job, because I have the CDL and I'm plated real high and I'm a portion in
let's
IFTA.
show them this number too.
Oh, yes.
The two numbers you'd want to add together would be, where's it at?
Right there. So this is 12.1.
Yeah.
So, and this is a fairly small fifth wheel.
Yeah.
So at 12.1 and 14, Jolie could not drive this. She would be illegal.
Yep. That's correct.
So those are the numbers that you're looking at when you're talking about your CDL weights and your non-CDL weights and being legal and breaking the law. And
you showed them yours, right?
yeah.
So just for them to see right there.
So over here, VWR 10,000.
So she can haul up to a 16,000 pound camper.
And it's not really coming through on the camera. Trust me, it says 10,000.
Yep. And then mine says 11.5. So they all vary.
So if you're non-CDL, make sure you're reading that tag before you buy your truck. And then comparatively, GVWR 7,500. So 10,000 plus 75, 17,500. She's 8,500 away from being illegal. And that's part of the reason that she doesn't do fifth wheels, because she just, for her, like you said, just it's not worth the run and the risk of being over.
Right.
So if you had a CDL, you would absolutely do them.
Absolutely.
They pull better, they're easier to hook up, it's less work, and when you get into like snowy conditions and ice, it's going to put more weight on your axle. It's going to be a little bit safer for you. But with her not being CDL, she's choosing to not have to play that game. Which, I mean, she'd still have a good deal of RVs that she could do, like the one that I'm pulling right now. But, those hitches are, what $1,500 for the slider?
Yeah, for the slider.
So $1,500, at what point are you actually going to make that money back up? Now, if she couldn't keep busy with the bumper pulls, sure, definitely look into it. But for right now, I mean, she's moving, and she's moving pretty hard, so she's fine. So I hope that answers a lot of the questions you guys have been asking. And no, obviously, I did not stick to my 8.75 hour plan. And like I said, that's just the only thing I can think of, is that years and years and years of having to get up at 4 a.m. and not getting home until 7 p.m. To me, a 12-hour day is an easy day. I know a lot of people that do this job and they barely run 8 hours a day, and I know other people that just run the hell out, and every second.
We're kind of a happy 10.
Yeah. Chris was the one that told me about the 8.75, and he's done it. There's times that he's done it. It just depends on what you have to do. Yeah. Like if the load boards were really slow and I was in no hurry and I wanted to take my time, I would absolutely run that so that I could keep a cycle going until a load came up. But right now, I'm trying to get this one delivered, do 1 or 2 more runs down into California probably, or somewhere in the west area. And then, to be perfectly honest, regardless of what the load board does, I'm probably taking a week off. Just because, yeah, you know, I get my 34s all the time and whatnot, but I haven't had time to just sit and relax. Minus that time in the hotel room, but with the corona and the everything, I just sat in the hotel room. I didn't relax at all. I relaxed, but I didn't get any me time. I was just sitting in a hotel. So I'm gonna take a few days off, spend some time with the family. Yeah. So again,
One more thing. If you do a short box, you have a lot less room. So therefore, you really cut down on your ability to haul a lot of fuel. We can only really haul about 60 gallons of fuel, because if you go any further, you actually run into your wheel well with a bigger tank. And you cannot stick up above the bed. So therefore, you're really limited to about 60 gallons of fuel if you go a short bed. If you go with a long bed, I mean, you can do a 109-gallon tank easy. So that is another downfall to a short bed, but you know, they are easier to drive for a lot of people. You know, easier parking when you're not loaded. You know, they're easier to get around in, and there's nothing wrong with using a short box. Just wanted you to know that is one downfall. I like to haul more fuel than 60 gallons because, you know, you get a good deal on it. You want to go as far as you can, like you do. So, which I guess you don't hold much more, do you?
No, I'm only 96 collected.
Okay, so
but my main tank is bigger.
Right, but you could go bigger.
Yes.
With the auxiliary tank if you chose to. So you would just not have the toolbox.
Right.
Yeah. So that's one thing that I would add to that. Other than that, for short boxes, I mean, they work great. I can't complain. So.
Okay. So on the fuel thing, that's another question that I've got a lot of that I've kind of touched on and not real well. So I do have the fuel cell toolbox combo. You can see the seam or the split right there. But the question that I've got is that DOT number right there. That number is not assigned at random or an inspection or whatever. The manufacturer pays to have that DOT number printed on. It's inspected by DOT and verified. And if you don't have that number on your fuel cell, they can cite you. Doesn't mean they're going to, doesn't mean they will. Just they have the ability to, because it's not DOT approved and you're using the truck for commercial purposes. Now, I think that covers a majority of the questions that I get asked repeatedly. I hope this was informational. I hope this helped. I hope it points you in the right direction for where you want to go with your truck. As always, please feel free to reach out and ask me anything else. I will do my best to answer it as soon as I can. Email is always an option. Instagram is always an option. As you drop down into the description, you'll see a link to both of those. And I look forward to carrying on this journey with you guys as we continue to move forward. Tomorrow we'll be coming to you somewhere in Wyoming, hopefully. So, as always, those of you out on the roads, I wish you fair winds and following seas. Take care and have a great day.